everybody and welcome to Astro Tap, the place where we use astrology to tap into your destiny. So today we're going to talk about the rising sign, and the rising sign can also be called the Ascendant. So bear this in mind when you're checking out your own birth chart, and also if you hear me switching from rising sign to Ascendant in this video, because I have a tendency to do that, it means the same thing. So the rising sign is a sign that was rising on the western horizon at the moment you were born, and I specify it's the moment you were born. So to know your rising sign, you need your time of birth and your place of birth, and it's so important to get these accurate because the rising sign changes approximately every 2 hours. So when you were born and you took in that first breath, you were breathing in the qualities of that rising sign. It's your first impressions of the world. And whatever sign your rising sign falls in was the energy you felt when you first became a human being. So the rising sign is how you see the world. So it's the filter that you see the world through. It's the best way you know how to navigate your life. And as we know, life is a mirror. So the energy that you put out is the energy that you get back. So your rising sign is also the way that you appear to other people. Now, the rising sign is so important in your birth chart because the rising sign really is the door into your reality, and it's also the doors into each house in your natal birth chart. So for instance, first house, rising sign, first door, you. The way you navigate the world and the way that you appear to others. Second house, your value systems. What in life do you need to feel secure and to feel stable? Third house, your mindset, your communication, and so on and so on. But to build up this house system and understand your birth chart at a personal level, this rising sign builds up the rest of your birth chart. And because the rising sign has a lot to do with your first impressions, it has a lot to do with your first steps in life. So it can also indicate the energy around your childhood. And the rising sign can also indicate your physical appearance. So a lot of people will hold physical traits from their rising sign, and this makes it so much easier for people to guess your rising sign before they actually guess like your sun sign or your moon sign or your Venus sign, because the rising sign really guards those more intimate placements. The rising sign can also indicate the energy around your birth, so your journey down the birth canal, and the rising sign can also indicate the way that you rise every morning, so the way that you wake up. Because when you open your eyes in the morning, a new day is born. So a lot can be said about somebody's morning routine when you look at their rising sign. Now, another thing to take into consideration is the planet that rules your rising sign. So for instance, if you're an Aries rising, Mars is the planet that rules your rising sign. And whatever planet rules your rising sign is actually your whole chart ruler. So every house will have a little aspect of this Mars energy. Now, we're not really going to go into this in this video, but I will tell you each planet that rules each sign, and I will do a future video on this. Another thing to take into consideration is if you have your birth chart handy, check whether you have any planets conjunct your ascendant. Now, a conjunct means any planets 10 degrees away from your ascendant. I'll pop a chart example up here or here. And as you can see in this chart, it is my chart because I am a prime example for this, because as you can see, I have Uranus conjunct the ascendant, Neptune conjunct the ascendant, the moon conjunct the ascendant, and the north node conjunct the ascendant. Now, any planets that are conjunct the ascendant in the 12th house, you will have some past life connection to those planets and those energies. So for instance, my persona will be very Capricorn-esque, so Saturn-like, Neptune-like, and Uranian-like. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there. And any planets underneath, you will have those traits, but they will be less seen and more personal to you. Again, I will do a future video on this just to explain this a bit better, but it is something to check out. And if you do find that you have any planets conjunct your ascendant, check the sign that goes with each planet, and you can also watch the video for that sign as well. So in this video, I will go through your general traits, your physical appearance regarding your rising sign, your journey down the birth canal. I will try and predict that. Maybe you want to chat to your mum or something to find out the deets, and how you rise and shine each morning. But first, I will be showing you a few celebrities which share your rising sign, just so that you have some examples. And I've chosen reality TV stars because the rising sign is that first sign that people are going to see when they meet you. And as mentioned, you are hiding your more intimate chart placements behind that rising sign. So when you're a reality TV star, you are probably going to show the traits of your rising sign before you get to the nitty gritty, like the moon sign. So you may see someone's moon sign if they get triggered, but day to day when they've got a camera in their face, you're gonna see their rising sign. Hey Libra Rising and Ascendant, let's have a look at the reality TV stars which share your rising sign. So we have the beautiful Olivia Buckland from Love Island, Niall Horan from X Factor, and the iconic Harry Styles, also from X Factor. And as we know, Niall and Harry are from One Direction, but they started out in X Factor if you were not aware. So Libra, you are a air sign rising sign. So you are all about that intellect, you're all about communication, you're all about that sociability. You are ruled by the planet Venus. So not only is your rising sign ruled by Venus, but your whole chart will be ruled by Venus. And Venus is all about harmony and balance. It wants pleasing situations. So you look at your whole life like a big balancing act so that you can gain harmony and peace. Also, you are a cardinal rising sign, so you do like to initiate. You have the strength and the ability to burn everything to the ground and start something new. So you're innovators. You balance everything. You balance work, you balance play, you balance finances, you balance your personal time, social time. Like, everything is a massive balancing act. I do feel like Libra risings are juggling about 10 plates at once, but you guys make it look so easy, so nobody really realizes the pressure that you're under. Now, you were probably brought up in a household where you were taught to be kind, considerate, well-mannered, be presentable, and you've brought this into your adult life. So Libra risings do tend to be extremely likable characters because of this awareness of themselves. Sometimes Libra risings can go a bit too far on the self-sacrificial side of life, sacrificing their own needs, their own personality traits to be acceptable to other people. You're so popular because of this. Nobody can dislike a Libra rising because you're living life for other people. So Libra is all about relationships. It naturally rules that 7th house, so the partnership between you and another person. So Libras are the masters of relationships because they balance out the needs of both people, and when you're considering someone else, you're going to please other people and people are going to find you very pleasing. So I find that Libra risings are the most rising signs of all the rising signs, and I don't know whether that makes any sense to you, but the rising sign is that persona that guards your more intimate placements, like the moon, like Venus, and such placements like those. And Libra is a sign that naturally has a public persona because you're being what someone else wants you to be. So when it comes to a Libra rising, you are being what everyone wants you to be in every aspect of your life. So again, it's that self-sacrificial nature that every Libra rising needs to look out for. If you are a Libra rising, I would suggest looking at your birth chart and finding whether you have any Aries placements or what house Aries rules. I'm gonna pop up a birth chart just so I can give you an example so that you know where to look if you're not actually sure how to find your birth chart or read your birth chart, because Aries is the opposite sign to Libra. Libra is all about other people, it's considerate, it likes balance. Aries is more selfish, it likes to go for what it wants. And I do feel like a lot of Libra risings need to tap into their Aries energy and make sure that they're living life on their terms while still being polite and considerate, rather than completely sacrificing themselves for someone else's needs. I do find Libra risings in particular do tend to steer away from relationships because they know when they get in a relationship how much of them they can give away. So how much of themselves they give to another person. So they have to be extremely picky when it comes to relationships. Now, if you're a younger Libra rising, be aware of this. Be aware that you can give so much of yourself away that there's nothing left for you. A lot of older Libra risings, I feel, have this SHIT imbalance, but the younger Libra risings, if ever you're feeling absolutely pants when you're in a relationship, it's probably because you're giving your personality away to someone else. But because of this natural ability to balance out a partnership and have harmony within partnerships, you do work really well in teams or in partnership with people. So marriages tend to go really nicely for you guys, and also business partnerships. Now, my boyfriend is a Libra rising, and he's always been in bands because he's a drummer, he's a musician, and a very talented one at that. Obviously, looking at his birth chart, I can see that Libra rising, and I can see that his destiny is to be in partnership with people. So when I look at his chart, I'm just like, yeah, you're gonna make it, you're gonna be successful, and you're built to be in band dynamics. And that's a very good example of Libra rising. You're built to be in partnerships, you're great in partnerships, and you thrive in partnerships. Also, Libra risings, you're very passionate about justice and fairness. So you tend to be extremely fair people. You're the friend that gives a fair response. So just say your friend has had some issues with their partner, they'll come to you, and rather than being the friend that just slams the partner and says it's all their fault and it's nothing to do with you, you're the friend who gives honest and fair advice. You weigh up the situation, and you have a way of being brutally honest and fair, yet still being polite and still being liked for it. And I really appreciate that. And that makes you really good socialites. People like to be around you. People like to talk to you. You have a very good balance in conversations. If you are sitting with a friend, you'll be like, okay, this has happened to me, that's happened to me. Now, what's been happening with you? You'll always ask about the other person. Everyone will always feel valued in your company. Now, this fairness and justice is also apparent in your decision making. So everything you do in life, like if you're deciding a job or a relationship, you will weigh up the pros and you will weigh up the cons. You do tend to just live a life of balance, and it ends up being a very beautiful life for that reason. Talking about beauty, you do appreciate good aesthetics. You appreciate beautiful people, you appreciate beautiful sceneries, and you appreciate beautiful interiors. Anything beautiful, you do appreciate it. So you do tend to take some extra care when it comes to aesthetics. Although I have found with Libra placements, including Libra risings, you do like to have a pleasing aesthetic, yet make a statement. Now, where I feel this statement energy creeps in is due to your self-sacrificial nature. So when you dress in the morning, for instance, this is a great example. You dress for how you think other people would like to see you dress. But because of all this self-sacrificialness, you tend to get a bit rebellious out of nowhere and wear something statementy, something that stands for who you are. So you could be somebody who is going to a work interview and you dress in a nice suit, but you throw on like a leopard print tie because you get really rebellious and you're like, I have self-sacrificed so much that I want to wear this statement piece so that people know that my personality is still valid. Now, moving into the appearance, you do take care of your appearance, so you generally are very pleasing people to look at. And because the glyph of Libra is the scales, you do tend to have a lot of symmetry. So your outfit will be very balanced, so a nice balance of colours. Also, your facial features can be very balanced. As we know, a symmetrical face is supposed to be the most attractive face. Obviously, too much symmetry and you go into the uncanny valley. Google that if you've never heard of it. It's really interesting actually, but you do tend to have very symmetrical faces, which does make you attractive, pleasing people to look at. I have noticed with Libra risings, you do tend to have a youthfulness to you, but I do think it comes from the eyes. Because you're so balanced, you're generally very happy people. And you have this very happy, uplifting aura about you, and you can really see that in the eyes. A Libra rising will have very shiny, bright eyes. And you never seem to look tired. That's another thing with Libra rising. Even if you've had minimal sleep, you never look tired. So, birth. When it comes to your birth and your trip down the birth canal, because you are so pleasant and you don't like to cause a fuss, you probably came down the birth canal very carefully, took your time and, okay, oh, I don't want to touch that because that might hurt mom, and oh, okay, oh, there's the light at the end of the tunnel, I'll just squeeze in as tiny as I can and squeeze through. And then your mom was probably like, oh, my baby, how lovely was that birth? Your mom is probably the person who goes around telling people, giving birth is a piece of piss. It was so beautiful and glorious. And all the other moms with their Aries rising babies ruled by Mars are literally like, what? When I gave birth, I felt like I was on hell on earth. Well, no, you as a Libra rising probably gave your mom a pleasant birth. So easy-ish, not too much drama in the birthing room. Doctors were cool. Doctors probably weren't even called out. Midwives were chilling, having a lovely chat with your mum because of all that lovely Libra sociable energy. Also, it could have been a slower paced labour because of this, because maybe you did take your time to come down the birth canal because you were being so careful and considerate. But you could have also been a planned C-section. With Libra, everything is planned. A lot of planning goes into Libra's aesthetic and their vibe. And I do feel like you being a Libra rising baby, you could have naturally had the energy around your birth where everything was planned. You were planned to turn up on this date, so you did. You were planned to be a C-section baby on this day at this time. Your mom knew what was going on. Your mom knew she was having a C-section and she could prepare for that. How does Libra like to rise and shine in the morning? So Libra risings, you need a nice, calm wake-up call. I don't think you've got much problems with alarms, but you might personalize it to your favorite music or a more calming song. You like that harmony, you like that niceness when you wake up in the morning, and you understand you need an alarm, you understand you need to wake up in the morning, and having your favorite tune when you wake up in the morning, you wake up happy, you wake up vibrant. It puts that shine in your eyes. Also, you do like your space to allow yourself to wake up. And I do feel like, especially Libra rising women, you may not want to be around people until you have your makeup on and your hair done. If you are dating somebody new, you may wake up about 10 minutes before they do to make sure that you go in the bathroom, clean your teeth, sort your hair out, maybe pop a bit of like concealer on or something like that. Now, anything that disrupts your routine may upset you because you do like that balance, and there is a lot of planning that goes into everything you do. So if the postman comes or someone visits you at 8 AM but like you're still in your dressing gown and you're just chilling listening to music or listening to a nice podcast, that will really pee a Libra rising off. But when it comes to the amount of sleep you need, again, there needs to be some kind of balance. You need a balanced amount of sleep. And you may actually plan your sleep quite well. So you may know that you only got 6 hours last night, so you'll plan to go to bed early the night after and get 10 hours to make up to that 6 hours so that you have an average of 8 hours. So that is your rising sign, and I hope you found this video to be interesting and informative. If you resonate, please comment down below and drop me a like if you like this video. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe because I would love to see more of you, and I shall see you next time. Bye.